Yeah, I guess this is all.
Yeah,
All
right.
right,
Yeah. Let
let
me
me
share
share
my
my
screen.
screen.
So I
So I
think
think
for
for
this
this
week,
week,
this
this
past
past
two
two
weeks,
weeks,
we
we
have
have
several
several
items.
items.
The
The
first
first
one
one
is
is
the
the
CATA
CATA
support.
support.
Um,
Um,
I
I
think
think
Fun
Fun
is
is
reviewing
reviewing
it
it
right
right
now.
now.
Let
Let
me
me
get
get
this.
this out. CATA support. Hmm.
So I
So I
think
think
for
for
this
this
one,
one,
it
it
just
just
add
add
more
more
a
a
scaled
scaled
object
object
support
support
in the
in the
CATA
kata
and
and
also
also
modifies
modifies
the
the
whole
whole
documentation
documentation
with
with
all the
all the
things.
things.
I
I
do
do
believe
believe
that
that
um,
um
Fun
Fang
left
left
some
some
messages
messages
and
and
to
to
for the
for the
review
review
for the
for the
PR.
PR.
Um,
Um
right
right
now,
now
it's
I'm
still
still
waiting
waiting
for the
for the
review
review
from
from
Fun.
Fang.
Um,
Um
I
I
think
think
that's
that's
it
it
for
for
this
this
PR. I
PR. I
think it's
think it's
really
really
interesting
interesting
PR
PR
to
to
add
add
more
more
CATA
kata
support
support
in the
in the
production
production
stack.
stack.
And
And
I
I
think in
think
the
in the
future, we
future,
will
we will
also
also
put
put
it,
it,
well,
well,
I
I
believe it
believe it
will be
will be
beneficial
beneficial
to
to
a
a
lot of
lot of
companies that
companies that
wants to
wants
do
to
the
do the
auto
auto
scaling,
scaling,
considering
considering the
the auto
auto
scaling
scaling
scope
scope
and the
and the
functionality
functionality
for
for
the
the
company's
company's
side.
side.
I
I
think
think
that's
that's
why we
why we
want to
want to
do the
do the
production
production
stack.
stack.
I will
I would
put
put
it
it
here.
here,
Review
review
for
for
the
the data support, data support. Aside from that, there's also another one that Cosella you talked about,
the
the
Oracle
Oracle
Cloud
Cloud
Infrastructure
Infrastructure
Deployment
Deployment
support.
support.
But I
But I
think
think they are not,
he's
he's
not
not
using
using
the
the
Terraform.
Terraform.
Oh, it's not. So it's a demo on through what? Through
Yeah.
like
Yep.
API, REST API?
I
I
think they
think
are
they are
using,
using,
yeah,
yeah,
you can
you can
see
see
they're
they're
using
using
the
the
I see
Oracle
OCLI
Home
command
Command
line.
9.
Yeah, OCSLI. Yeah. So that can go under another subfolder of the tutorials eventually, but not the Terraform one.
Mm.
Mm,
I'll
I'll
put
put
it
it
here.
here.
Is
Data.
he working for Oracle, the person?
Not
Not
sure.
sure.
Let's
Let's
see
see
who
who
is
is
it.
it.
Yeah,
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 Oracle.
Oracle.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Not a
Not a
lot of
lot of
people
people
know
know
about the
about the
command
command
line.
line
Yeah, well, you
for
need
the
to be
Oracle one.
familiar, I guess.
Oracle.
I may even check with him if that is where we can get some credits to
Mm,
do the Terraform one.
That would
that
be
would be
nice.
Yeah.
nice.
Um,
Um,
and
and
also, I
also, I
think
think
there's
there's
some
some
other
other
small
small
fix
fix
for
for
the
the
production
production
stack
stack
side.
side.
So the
So the
first
first
one,
one,
as
as
we
we
said
said
before,
before,
um,
um,
the
the
semantic
semantic
router
router
deployment,
deployment,
since
since
the
the
semantic
semantic
router
router
side, they
side, they
have
have
already
already
changed
changed
their
their
deployment
deployment
method.
method.
So
So
we
we
also
also
changed
changed
in
in
our
our
side
side
to
to
update
update
our
our
documentation for
documentation
the
for the
semantic
semantic
router
router
deployment.
deployment.
Right
Right
now, we
now,
are
we are
using
using
Helm
Helm
to
to
deploy
deploy
all
all
of
of
those
those
things.
things.
And I
And I
think
think
right
right
now we
now we
have a
have a
full
full
chain
chain
from the
from the
semantic
semantic
router
router
to the
to the
deployment
deployment
stack to
stack to
the
the
vLLM
vLLM
engine,
engine,
um,
um,
including the
including the
functionality
functionality
and
and
also the
also the
observability
observability
stack
stack
with
with
the
the
newly
newly
open
open
telemetry
telemetry
functionality
functionality
enabled.
enabled.
I
I
think
think
it's
it's
pretty
pretty
nice,
nice,
and
and
thank you
thank you
guys
guys,
oh, for
for
the
the
this
this
integration.
integration.
I'll
I'll
put it
put it
here.
here. Mm, Done RH. Okay.
Aside
Aside
from
from
that,
that,
it's
it's
just
just
some
some
small
small
tweak
tweak
about
about
our
our
community
community
meeting
meeting
time.
time.
So
So
right
right
now we
now we
changed to
changed to
this
this
one so
one
that
so
I
that I
can
can
record
record
it.
it.
We
We
haven't
haven't
had
had
recording
recording
for
for
several
several
weeks
weeks
because
because
of
of
the
the
link
link
is
is
not
not
correct.
correct.
Uh, so
So
after
after
changing
changing
this, we
this, we will have more recording. We will have to be accessible to other people. I think that's pretty much of the update from last 2 weeks.
do you have
Do you
any
have any
questions?
Yeah,
questions?
well, one more input since like the previous ones weren't recorded. I'd like to share that I today released the official blog around the deployment of vLLM production stack on Nebius.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So with a full end-to-end guide to let me actually put my video so people can see me. Yeah, so what I wanted to say is that it's an easy guide to deploy vLLM production stack using Terraform, which is like a all-in-one command end-to-end deployment in Nebius Kubernetes service, managed Kubernetes cluster on GPU. So
Oh,
Sorry to
sorry to
interrupt.
interrupt.
Can I
Can I
just
just
drop
drop
in
in
the
the
can you
can you
just
just
drop in
drop
the
in the
link
link
so
so
I
that I
I just
can
did
can?
it. I don't know
oh
if you see it. That's the last line. So I don't know if you see it.
the
The
last
last
line.
line.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, you
okay. You
mean
mean
the
the
Yeah,
meeting
meeting
notes.
notes?
exactly in the meeting notes. Sorry. Yeah. So we talked about it like weeks ago when it was not officially published, because I wanted to share it as a primer to the community. But today it's available, and you can have all the description of the project, the structure, all the files. There are no modules. That's the advantage here compared to all the cloud providers that there's no model with a lot of other TF files or sub resources to add. It's pretty straightforward. You install the load balancer, all the core services of the Nebius Kubernetes clusters. You add the encryption for the vLLM endpoint through Let's Encrypt, and at the end of the deployment, they will just have a URL of the vLLM router from where they can just run their queries in a secure fashion because everything is encrypted. So that's the advantage of this deployment. It's not just a demo; it's also a sort of a close to production ready kind of deployment where even the transmission or interaction with the backend is encrypted. So
Mhm.
that's a good preview for people that want to deploy in Nebius because there is no other documentation in or blog in Medium or dev.to. So this is literally the sort of the first of its kind full walkthrough of the
Mm.
deployment of vLLM production stack using Terraform on Nebius Kubernetes cluster service. Right, you can see here that a lot of variables that you can change, and the dashboards are also included with the deployment, so no extra script to run in order to integrate the dashboard into Grafana. So it's an all-in-one deployment where you have access to the endpoint and also to the observability part of it through Grafana dashboard of vLLM. So hopefully you can help people have a good glimpse of how to deploy vLLM production stack on Nebius.
Mm.
Quick
Quick
question.
questions.
I
I
see
see
that
that
there's
there's
like
like
a
a
MK by S
MK
cluster.
cluster.
Yeah.
So
So
if
if
they
they
have
have
a
a
MK
MK
by
by
S
S
cluster,
cluster,
so
so
we
we
don't need
don't
to
need to
provision
provision
all the
all the
nodes,
nodes,
right?
right?
Yeah, but that at that point, if you have the cluster deployed, then you just need to run the Helm charts and
Oh,
deploy
Okay.
vLLM production stack. But based on all the other tutorials that I built it in other three other major clouds, it starts from the premise that people or the team want to just try to deploy vLLM production stack and have a preview and how it's done on like a vanilla
Mm.
cluster. So taking care of all the piping, especially the service cider, the pod cider, and the node cider. Sometimes we network in different cloud providers. They're very specific. You can install the default. This is not a default, by the way. This cluster, managed cluster Kubernetes in Nebius, they tell you to run it with the default VPC, but this allows you to choose your VPC cider, which is different.
Okay.
So like it's
Interesting.
very granular installation. It's not it's opinionated, so people can eventually have maybe sort of predefined ciders for their VPC. Can happen all the time actually in the infrastructure, especially on the cloud. That network team will just give you a specific set of subnets to use. And the default right now in the console of Nebius is just reusing the default VPC for every project in every region, right? As opposed to this deployment, you have the choice to specify the cider itself, and it's within the Terraform deployment. So within the resources, there are network resources, subnet, and VPC that are deployed. That allows you to choose and pick wherever segment you want on the network, and it's and by the way, so feel free to reach out through Slack if there's any question regarding networking, because there's the difference here in Nebius is that you need to be careful. They have another primitive in networking. You can create a sort of a range, IP range first, and then you give the IP ranges to the VPC, as opposed to the cloud provider where you define the cider already by default on the VPC. So the VPC is the main only container for the cider for your networking segmentation, right? As opposed to here, there's something called range, IP ranges that you can sort of provide and give to a VPC, from which when you deploy a Kubernetes cluster, they can choose which sort of range they will give to the service, like the Kubernetes service cider, which one to give to the pods, and which one to give to each node that is created within the cluster. So it can be a bit tricky if you assign that without using the ranges. It has to be a /16 by default, and what I noticed is that you cannot assign different ranges of /24 and then assume that it will pick this one for the service, pod service, this one for the pods, and this one for the nodes. There's an allocation that is too dynamic, where it may take the whole cider that you give it to. And with the range, you don't specify the granularity of the segments. Unfortunately, there's no way to specify which one goes to which. You just give the /16 and then it decides for itself. So I tried to be a bit granular, and it was not possible because all the range was taken already. So that's the difference here with the networking stack of Nebius.
Interesting.
Yes. So there are a lot of things that happen dynamically that the user has no control. As opposed to AWS, where when you specify VPC, you can specify the subnets. The only condition is that the subnets should not overlap with each other. As long as they are part of the superset of cider. In Nebius, it's not the same. You may want to do that, but at the end, if you deploy the cluster, we tell you that all the IP ranges are used, even if you have enough. Right. So in this example, you may see that the networking part, there's probably in the code, especially in the network, you can see yes. So the VPC cider is specified, the service cider is specified, but they're all /60. They're not /24, right? So that's more or less the thing that I discovered with Nebius, and apparently it's like within the 60 cloud provider that I run deployments into. Like this is the first time I'm seeing like a part of the scheduling or segmentation that
Mm.
is taken care by the API, by the platform itself, and not by the user. So it's a bit different. But all in all, it's a very practical deployment where you have a lot of flags and parameters that you can play with, to decide how many, like which GPU you want to, the networking part, and also the type of machines and VMs you want for your GPUs. And this includes actually one CPU nodes for like the common services, and the GPU is labeled just for vLLM.
I
So
see.
yeah, so all the rest will just contain whatever is common for the cube system,
Mhm.
and the GPU will be labeled to a specific purpose, to just the purpose of LLM server. So that's where like you make a big differentiation between the workload
I
purpose
see.
between the nodes.
Is there a auto scaling policy for the node groups in the managed
There
Kubernetes?
is. So it's maybe very basic, but like there's in their resource, there's a primitive where you can define the min and max nodes. So
Okay.
autoscaling, I'm talking about node autoscaling, not
Mhm.
HBA. So this is included already in the resource of NKS A8 resource, right? There's like a segment under the nodes where you specify how many the max nodes and the minimum nodes.
But the scheduling algorithm is predefined by them, right?
Probably, probably.
Okay.
So there is no metric to add into those primitives. I haven't seen any in the official documentation of the provider. So I would assume that they have their own metrics and their whole formula,
I see.
to scale the nodes.
How about AWS? Do they have auto scaling that can have custom metrics or scheduling algorithm? Do you know about that?
Probably they use Carpenter.
Ah,
So
okay.
eventually, Carpenter, there are ways to be more granular,
Mhm.
maybe integrated with other service like CloudTrail.
Mhm.
I'm not very privy to it or familiar to it. I didn't try it yet, but I would assume since Carpenter was a project that was initiated by AWS already, they may have connected it to their own
Mm,
sort of tracing services to to make the auto scaling a bit more nimble than what you can see on premise, for example.
makes sense. Yeah, sounds really good. Really comprehensive deployment recipe.
Yeah, it's the same actually. In the repo has a core cloud provider,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hoping to add core weaves if they would allow us to open an account because so
Mm,
far it's they're GPU constrained, so there is no on-demand offer in core weaves right now.
I see.
Yeah, so we'll see if there's a
We'll
way
see.
we can have that, or otherwise maybe we'll look for OCI.
Mm. Yeah, I think this is pretty much all the updates. Anything else you wanna add, Casella?
No, all
Okay.
good.
All right. I'll just put you here. All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Um, if you are watching the recording, thanks for watching the recording. All
All right.
right. Bye.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Casella.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.